Hello everyone, in this unique video for Dragonball Squadra, I've got a fun idea that I actually kind of came up with for a video series thanks to the inspiration from a guy from the Discord called Rusher, so thank you very much Rusher. In this mini-series I'm going to create character kits for characters that could be unique to the game or could come to the future of the game. So for today's character, we have Persa, and I've made his role DPS. So the reason I chose him is because I just think he's so unique. He can change into different modes, like his base mode, his battle mode, his speed mode, his ultimate mode, which I think is cool. People like, to think of him because he's like a Power Ranger. Most people will search Power Ranger to even get pictures of him. Especially against this fight with Vegeta, people will type Vegeta versus Power Ranger. But I've always wanted him in a Dragon Ball game. I've always thought it would be funny and unique to have him in Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Legends, and it could finally maybe happen in this one if they release, lesser known characters, because Dragon Ball as a MOBA is a lot different to the gacha that is like Dragon Ball Legends. In Dragon Ball Legends they constantly release Gokus and Vegetas, Gohans, Vegito, Gogeta. They constantly have to release the popular people multiple times for the gacha, for the money, for the power creep. Well, this is a MOBA. You can't have about 20 types of Gokus from different arcs. Same with Vegeta, same with Gohan, same with Frieza if they want to do Golden Frieza or Third Form Frieza or the final form like full powered where he's really big and buff. They can't just keep releasing them forever and ever. Same with like Vegito and Gogeta. They can't release just multiple types of Vegetos and Gogetas, it'll become too much. So that's why I thought Persa would be such a cool character. So let's kind of go over what I've chosen for him, and let me kind of show you how it would work if I'm able to explain it good. So first, I've made his role a DPS. I think he would be a very basic just damage person, very much a boxer, just a simple puncher, constantly punching. His passive I've decided to call is You Can't Escape Me Villain. Now the reason I've called it that is because he is a police officer in his own world. Now obviously it was Jiren's universe, Universe 11, that kept calling everyone villains, they kept calling Goku villains. Same with Bergamo's universe, they kept calling his universe villains. But Persa, his universe did not do that, but I still thought it would be a fun idea since he is a police officer. Now, the way his passive works is when an enemy is facing away from you and below 30 HP, Persa actually gains basically a speed boost, and you can just chase behind them, do the final hits and, KO the person, so then they'll have to go and respawn. Now, I was a little bit contemplating between it because I think it might be a bit too strong if it's facing away, or maybe a little too weak. I think making it just below 30 HP would be best. Maybe ignore they have to face away from you. But at the same time, I do think it's interesting. Now, it'll stop when the speed boost will basically stop when the enemy decides to turn around and fight you, which would probably be a bad idea, or when the enemy goes above 30 HP. So if it's a damage character, I mean a tank character, like Zamasu for example, he passively gains a bunch of health back. Same with Cell, with his third skill, he gains health back. So that's one way. Or a Boo. A Boo could help heal a damage character, or the Boo could heal himself by healing someone else because he gets some heals back. So that's roughly how that would work. Now we actually go into his skills, which I try to have a little bit of fun with, but he's very boxer, punch, block. That's how I see his moves. Skill 1, Combo Punch. Wasn't too sure what to name it, so I just named it simply Combo Punch, with a little show of him punching Vegeta. So at level 1, it'll be a simple just 1-2 combo, and maybe it can do like the cooldown thing, kind of like Gohan, where you can do it again. So you can do 1-2 punch, wait like half a second, and then do another 1-2 punch. When it's level 2, it becomes like a 1-2-3 combo, so left, right, left. And then when max, it becomes a 4 combo, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it does a lot of damage. And then when it becomes max, it does a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch combo. Now, when it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 punch combo, like I was saying earlier for skill 1, it can either be something similar to Gohan, where it's like, when you activate Gohan's skill 1, you have like 1 second to then activate his skill 1 again, so you can do it double. Or they can just make it so all his punches do a lot of damage. But I think that's a really good idea for just skill 1. You know, a simple basic just punch combo. Skill 2, speed overdrive. Now, when coming up with this one, I always remembered he did go into like a speed mode where allegedly, from what I remember, he went like 300 times speed, apparently. Which, who knows if that's true, but he did move faster. He zoomed away from Frieza, and Frieza was like, I'm not fighting you, you're not worth my time, I'm just going to look away. Now, in this mode, it's very similar to Gohan's ultimate attack. So, for example, the activation of it though is a little different. So you click your skill 2, you have 5 seconds to try and get an enemy. Once you do, let's say, catch up to an enemy in the 5 seconds, let's say you activate it, and then in like 3.5 seconds you catch up to an enemy and you punch them with like your normal just left click punch. Basically, you then rapidly start spinning around. Either think of like Gohan's ultimate, how he goes in a circle but he keeps bouncing around all over the place. Something like that. Or think of, in the trailer, Kefla's attacks. Kefla's attacks, she like jumps around like teleporting. She jumps around in circles while like doing blast attacks. Basically, it would work like that. Now, if a teammate also attacks the enemy, you know, at the same time, you'll actually get a normal, just passive speed boost. Like, no speed boost for the attack, just like a normal speed boost. So that means if an enemy starts going, like, that same enemy, if he's still, you know, alive and not KO'd, you can just catch up to them and start beating them up again. You know, de-skill 1 combo, or do your ultimate if you have it. It's just a simple passive speed boost. Obviously, a lot of stuff like this, if it did get implemented, it would probably need nerfed because he would have way too much speed and he would just catch up to people constantly and stagger them. But I do think it's pretty cool. Skill 3, block and counter. This one is pretty, you know, explanatory. Block and counter. Basically, with this, when him and an opponent are in an attack, you can activate your skill 3, you'll block a couple of their attacks or negate a couple of their attacks, and you can do one like big super punch back. Now this super punch will do a lot of damage to the enemy, but you also get staggered and slowed down for the next like 2 to maybe 3 seconds. So that basically means, yes, you'll do a powerful blow to the enemy back. You'll block some of their moves and you punch them really hard. But the bad thing is, if they've got a teammate, that teammate will easily be able to catch up to you because you're going to be staggered for the next 2 seconds. Or the person you punched, if they've still got loads of health, they could just, you know, keep on fighting you. They could just go right back and fight you and not care. So that's the downside, which I think is quite balanced, because you get to do a powerful punch that does a lot of damage, but then you're also staggered and slowed. So if that person doesn't care that they've lost a lot of health, they can just fight you back. So I think skill 3 so far is pretty balanced. I actually do like skill 3, I think it makes sense for him. But yeah, I really do like it. I think it's just interesting. It's just a simple blocking counter punch with a downside and an upside to it. Skill 4 is, well, ultimate kind of attack. I've called it the finger beam, but in reality, I believe it's called the Chacrter final mission. Like, that's the actual name of the attack. I just called it finger beam from research, but in reality, it would be probably called Chacrter final mission. Now, this one is really simple. It's just like what he does in the anime against Vegeta, and Vegeta does his final flash. He basically puts his arm out and does like a big laser gun, basically. That's a special kind of laser beam, similar to Piccolo's special beam cannon, but he does it as like a finger gun, you know? Very simple. What I've decided to do though for this one though is that even at a low level 1, the default range is already max length. So the default range is really long. But what I've maybe decided, and I've thought of this recently just before recording, is maybe at a low level, the further the range as well, the less the damage is. I think that could be good. Because as I've said, I've made the default range already max. So the default range is already max. But maybe because that could catch up with people too easily, maybe it's a slightly weaker the further distance away. Well, when you get to higher level, it's a much more damaging attack, which I think is a really good idea. Overall, I think if Kato Persa got added to the game, I think he would just be fun. I think people would enjoy him. I think it could be really just unique, being able to zoom around and do just simple kind of boxer things. I think it genuinely could just be fun. It kind of makes me think of just almost like the default just Goku that was in the start of the game. You know, he has close range punching attacks and stuff. And then obviously you have his Spirit Bomb and stuff. But I really enjoyed doing this. As I said, all respect to Rusher from the Discord server. Not the official Squadra Discord server. It was the more of the fan-made one that's less lenient on the rules. So big respect. He gave me inspiration after showing a fan kit of Fu from Dragon Ball Heroes, which I thought was cool. And because of that, he gave me the inspiration to you know, do one of my just favourite fun side characters. A police officer who looks like a Power Ranger, who went toe-to-toe with, you know, Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta, which I thought was pretty fun. So this will just be like a fun side series I might do like once a week or once every 2 weeks or so. I think it could just be fun. We can do popular characters, unpopular characters. I would also advise other people to go make fun kits as well, because what if the devs see it and get ideas? You can be like, oh, my character idea, my kit idea came in useful, which I think is pretty fun. So thank you all for watching, and we'll carry on with our Squadra time later.